Rocket Ride has most of the typical instruments you would expect in a kind of blues rock album. Guitar, bass, drums, piano, organ. I play a lot of harmonica. You know, those are all things that you would expect to hear on that kind of record. But I have a certain love of weird and wonderful musical toys, and I managed to incorporate a lot of them into this record. So I'm going to take you on a little tour of my environment here and some of the slightly unusual things that made their way onto the Rocket Ride album. I'm going to start by going downstairs. Don't worry, baby, it won't get weird. Oh, here we are. So, this is the notorious Broke Fuse Suitcase kick drum set. This was what got me started as a one-man band. I got this Suitcase, a $7.99 Samsonite red plastic suitcase from Value Village, which is our local thrift store here in the Toronto area. Got an old drum pedal. And then, really sophisticated, this is actually a piece of IKEA shelving, old IKEA shelving, attached with some Velcro and duct tape and a pool noodle and some foam rubber to make my special tambourine kick pedal thingy. Now, that gets combined when I play live or on the recording. So on the recording, I use this on the very first song called the Stevenson Swamp Stomp, and I used elements of it in other places. I think that's the only song where I used it fully. But I use it a lot live, and you'll have heard it if you've ever seen a live Broke Fuse show. But usually I combine that with a very extra special set of instruments, a pair of instruments that I call the blues shoes. The blues shoes are these old loafers here, and the one has a tambourine attachment from my old drums, and this one has a shaker attachment. And so put it all together, and that is the typical percussion sound of Broke Fuse. I'll play a little bit of it for you now so you can hear what it sounds like. All right, now this is an instrument I'm incredibly proud to own, and I was incredibly happy to have for this record because it perfectly suited one particular song, which of course is the title track, Rocket Ride. And the story behind this, so this is a theremin. And a theremin, just briefly, some of you will know this, but it's an instrument, an old electronic instrument that's based on the idea of radio waves and radio interference. And those of you who are old enough to remember radios with rabbit ears or antennas will remember, you know, sometimes when you walk around the room around them, they'll make different noises. So this uses that principle to create music. So one antenna controls volume and one antenna controls pitch. It's very difficult to play. But what's so great about it is I was on a call one night with a bunch of friends who all play ukuleles in the Scarborough Uke Jam that we have here. And one of them, my friend Gabe, is an electronics teacher and real smart guy. And I was talking about the idea that I always wanted a theremin. And Gabe got it into his head that he would get a kit, put this together, sneak it into my house with the help of my wife, and one day on a call, he said, "Hey, there's your wife's got something for you." And my wife's at the door. She handed me this, and I started playing around with it. But it ended up being perfect for the song Rocket Ride because it has all those crazy rockety effects in the middle. So I'll try and play a little bit of it here. I'm still not that great at it, I gotta be honest, but you can hear what it sounds like. So you can see this is pitch, and then this is volume. And you can do, and then some of the fun stuff is, so it's so much fun to play. So Gabe, thank you again for this. And yeah, it ended up being the perfect thing for Rocket Ride. So this is a harmonium, and probably best known as an instrument that's used in Indian music, South Asian music. But I use this on the song Hear the Rain, and essentially it's a small pump organ. You pump the bellows, and then there's air inside of it, and then you can play notes. It's got that kind of classic Indian drone sound, which is what I really wanted for that song. Just keeps going. You can go out and get a bite. So, of course, I play harmonica, and I played a lot of different harmonicas on this record, but most of them were the typical kind of 10-hole diatonic harmonicas that you'd be used to seeing that most blues and rock players play. But I did use this one kind of unique one. This is called, I don't know if you read that, it's the Goliath, and it's rightly named. It's a big instrument, and it's an octave vibrato harmonica. It sort of sounds like this. So this was gifted to me by my friend Joyce, after it was gifted to her by our mutual friend Alan. So I thank them both for this. Alan's, by the way, a great harmonica player in his own right. And I used this one also on the song Hear the Rain, and I'll try and recreate a little bit of that part here. So as you can hear, it's just got this lovely big sound, the Goliath. One of my favorite instruments to play, especially over about the last 15 years or so, has been the ukulele. And I've managed to acquire many ukuleles, as most people who play ukulele manage to do. I love it because it's such a flexible instrument, because you can get different ones that have different sounds. And this is a great example. This is a banjo ukulele from a company called Gold Tone. And this one is called the Little Gem. And it's purple and cute. And I think it sounds great. I use it on a song on this album called Hear the Rain, and it goes something like this. So ukuleles come in a variety of shapes and sizes. This one is called a baritone ukulele. My daughter got me this great sticker to go on it. But this one I used on an instrumental song called Los Teteles del Diablo. I hope I said that right. My Spanish is not the greatest. But it sounds a little like this. So you might be forgiven when you hear that of thinking that it's a Spanish guitar, but it is sort of similar. It's actually tuned much higher than a typical ukulele, and it has similar kind of strings to a classical guitar. So yeah, it's a similar sound, but it's a little different, and it's a lot of fun to play. So I really enjoy playing this one too. Now this might be the most unique instrument I own. As far as I know, there's only 3 or 4 on the planet, and this might be the only one in the Northern Hemisphere. This is a double neck steel string ukulele bass made by Honni Music, which is a guy in Australia who makes these really cool, unique instruments. He makes all kinds of different single and double necked instruments. I got this on special order about 5 or 6 years ago, kind of on a whim, as a lark almost, but it's turned out to be a terrific instrument. It sounds great, it feels great. Now, it's, as you can see, of course, it's got 2 necks. One is the bass neck. Now, I didn't use this on the recording, but just so you can hear what it sounds like. A little out of practice on that, but what I did use, and I've used on a fair number of recordings, is this little ukulele neck. Now, this sounds in some ways like a high guitar, but it's a really great little neck to play for sort of funky parts like that, and I love it for kind of arpeggiated parts. So again, I mean, the ukulele, so flexible and versatile, especially if you have all these different fun ones. Just love it. So there you go. I do love my toys. I want to thank Joyce and Alan and Gabe once again for their contributions, their gifts to me that made their way onto the record. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy Rocket Ride. I had a lot of fun making it, obviously. Hope you like it too.